Welcome to SelfCare Tuesdays with KKM. SelfCare Tuesdays with KKM is a podcast about three women with different lifestyles raising awareness on the importance of self-care to reach one's highest potential. Now here are your hosts, Kat, Krista, and Maria. Hey guys, so welcome back. 2 weeks have gone by.
Let's talk about vision boards.
Okay.
Before we jump onto the vision boards, I also wanted to just put out there that there was a study by Penny Baker and Beal that in regards to vision boards or writing and all this self-care that we are doing, this increases our physiology advances in a physiological sense, in our all wellness sense. Okay, this is a true study and you could search this for yourself. And then there's a big decrease in health problems. So this is why we do what we do. This is why we spend this time with you so that, you know, what's better than being around people in their wellness game.
I know that I benefit off of it firsthand because you guys keeping me in check is helping me with my self-care. The past 2 weeks have been insane.
Yeah.
So self-care has been a little hard to do. I will say, so I went from not ever doing self-care at all to now actually acknowledging the fact that I'm not doing it. So I guess that's growth.
My question too is, what was self-care before everyone started calling it self-care? You know what I mean? Like, what was it you? Like, what were you doing before? I'm sure you were doing all the things like meditating or
No.
What was a form of taking care of yourself?
Taking care of my family.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome.
What about you, Krista?
Self-care to me? Oh man. Well, for the first half of my life was self-preservation, right? You know, and this is talking about me from 4 years old to until 12 was self-preservation. I was born under an alcoholic father who was very abusive. I was 1 out of 5 children who were mentally, physically, emotionally abused. So self-preservation, and that's what the book is about, survival mode. And it speaks about the importance of self-care at that point. But you have to understand self-care gravitates and grows throughout life.
I agree.
Right? I agree too.
So at one point, yes, Kat, your self-care was your children.
Yeah.
And you have to honor that.
Yes.
And, you know, I know we speak about that all the time about how you kind of lost who you were because you lost it with your children. But you know what? I said this in the last podcast, honor that moment in time because at that time, that's who you needed to be.
I do, actually. That's what's helped me move forward and being comfortable where I am because sometimes I feel guilty that I am doing my own thing now, like the podcast or going to the gym, whatever it is that I want to do for myself. But I realized that it's okay.
Yeah.
I realized that was the moment. That's where I had to be. To me, they're the most amazing people in the world. So it served its purpose.
Yes.
And now I can move on and it's my turn and they're okay with it.
Yeah, that's very important. This is why, again, I always go back to know your own energy because how can you help others? It's like the whole thing with the airplane. Put your mask on before you put the child's mask on. Because
I did not do that.
I'm just saying, if you ever get lost in this world of self-care, you're going to go back to that, you know? How can you pour from an empty cup?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
How can you help others when you have not helped yourself?
You can't.
You can't.
And essentially, I think self-care is coming home to yourself.
Okay. I can get a little emotional, so I had to take a deep breath.
But I also wanted to touch base on the, you know, what we do here. You know, we suggest positive reinforcements, positive ways to take care of yourselves. And this is a big difference between self-preservations to self-destructions. So self-destructive paths. We are not judging here, no judge zone here. We want to amplify the positive resources rather than the negative resources. And we want to be able to share that, you know, we are not chastising you for having the path that you have led you here. Honor that. Honor where you are right here at this moment and how you got in here. But from here forth, if you have found yourself in our podcast, it's because we want to amplify, you know, this world of growth and positivity and the non-negative, no low vibrational energy here.
Yeah.
Right. You know, and in regards to that, with all the things that's going on in the world, like the war and the killings and the bombings and all of that. And I actually wrote an article on this on my Selfish Lifestyle blog, Where Was God Then? And that was very important for me to write because, in my case, there's a lot of clients that comes to me that are just literally on the verge of like ending it, or just saying, what's the point of being, in a higher state of being when all this shit is going on anyway? Right? What's the fucking point, Krista? And I'm challenged by this all the time.
Yeah, me too.
Or I'm challenged by my faith. Where was God then, Krista? Where was God then when my brothers are being killed out in, Iraq, Afghanistan, and all this bombings? Where was God then when I see a child being abused and beat, and around right now,
famine,
like the big thing is famine.
Right?
Big thing is this sexual predators and all of this stuff. And it's really, I'm right there with you, and I get it. And I don't pretend to be in this world of like La La Land and everything's just happy and, rainbows and butterflies. My suggestion is always to be like, what is it suggesting for you to do? Right? What is the purpose of you being here to do in this sense?
I always tell my kids, if it pulls at your heart, then there's something there that you're supposed to do. I remember my middle one was pulled by one of these kids that just couldn't afford something. And so he wanted to go and he wanted to help him. And of course, I'm going to support him, So I was like, if it's something that pulls at your heart, that's because you're supposed to do something with it. And whatever that is, I don't know, maybe it's writing a blog post to reach them. Maybe it's us having our podcast so that way we can spread love our way. I mean, if you're pulled to do it, you do it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And this is the makings of activism. People don't do this for the shits and giggles. A lot of them do this voluntarily. They don't get paid for this work, right? Go hug a tree, you know what I mean?
It's true. And I think honestly, these are things you guys already know. And what we're doing is we're simply sharing and sending little reminders of what your soul is already yearning for or wanting for from you. Yeah. And I think the more we share stories and experiences from our day-to-day lives on how we are self-caring, and I know self-caring is such an overused word nowadays.
Lately,
Yeah, especially lately.
Yeah.
I'm happy about that, though.
It's needed. Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Needed.
It's needed.
But this is something you guys already know, and we're just empowering you to recognize that.
Yes. Krista, why do you do vision boards?
Why do I do vision boards? It's just, it kind of brings back to the episode 1 that we speak about the writing. It makes it more tangible, as Marie had said and mentioned in the first episode. It puts it in your face. My vision boards are literally right in front of my bed. So when I wake up,
I need to do that.
It's the first thing I see. And when I go to sleep,
it's
the last thing I see. But I just had a vision board party, actually, January 1st, right? And I had made 2 vision boards. And people have asked me, why 2? And even at the party, there was about 8 of us at the party, and they're like, why are you doing 2? And I'm like, because I know me. Yeah. And I like to compartmentalize. And that is for me, my energy. That's Krista's energy. Now everybody has to be compartmentalized like Krista, but in my sense, I know my energy and I know I have to compartmentalize. And so I have 2, one for my book and my professional self, and the other one is my family, my personal. I put a baby there, and then every morning Quinn says, baby.
Let her speak it.
Quinn's like, baby. She points at the vision board, and it reassesses my tangibility. I'm like, oh yes, because sometimes life takes over. Yeah, life does take over.
I was gonna say, for me, vision boards are clarity because life takes over. You can look at it and it refocuses you. And like, oh yeah, okay, yes, that is the goal, or that's what I'm working towards.
I think with my vision board, it's all about embracing my power that I seem to. I feel like I've given up so much of my power to people, places, things, situations that honestly don't deserve it. And I think I've mentioned this before. So a vision board is for me to harness that power and really take control of what I can control. You can't control people, you can't control situations, but you can control the thing that is inside of you. What is your favorite image on your vision board?
It's the woman who is dressed up in heels and a businesswoman, super strong, but she's vacuuming at the same time.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I think that
it's funny you mentioned that, because mine is a power suit over a desk. She's standing and just working.
So mine is, I add my kids in the picture of that. So it's Superwoman to me, the woman that can be a career woman and maintain her house and have her children too.
Nothing like a strong power suit.
How about you, Krista?
It differs. I mentioned this past January we had a vision board party and I had 2 boards, but I didn't mention that the year prior to that I also had another vision board. So I have 3 total in front of me. One is for writing, one is for the profession manifestations, and then one is for the personal manifestations. But in truth, my favorite one is a picture that says "Live big, live big," and it's actually Oprah, who I love. And she has her arms raised out, and she's in the Grand Canyon. And live big, that. Yeah, and that is like.
Can we should redo that picture and put it on our vision boards. That'll be the next one. We'll do a picture of that.
Yeah, that's one of the energy points that I haven't, geographically energy centers that I haven't gone to yet is the Grand Canyon. So that's gonna be one. That's why I'm going to Arizona.
Oh
yes, that I mentioned
we're
earlier.
Going to Arizona.
Yeah,
is that our invitation?
I think we are riding with it.
I think that's our invitation.
And one of my favorite astrologer, he also does a lot of things there in Arizona because it is energetically
honestly
a
I agree.
State.
One of my first dream catchers was from Tempe, I think, or I forgot where I was in Arizona, but I purchased this dream catcher and it was made in an Indian reservation. And I just feel like anywhere where you're close to Mother Nature and where people embrace the roots is where the power is. It doesn't matter what culture you're in, who you are, how closest you are to just being around that type of surrounding. It's when you can actually embrace the power of the earth and the universe.
I need to visit one of these places.
I want to go back. I really do.
It's so funny though because just a sidebar, my friend who goes there all the time and she knows who she's listening. She says, "Oh my God, Krista, you'd love it there because every corner you're like psychic, spiritual healer, psychic, spiritual healer."
That is so your space. Oh man,
you're hilarious.
So Maria, what is a vision board to you?
A vision board to me represents your energy. I think when you put images, words, affirmations, things that are coming from your core, it's a reflection of what you're feeling, and I think that translates to your energy.
Got you. And you?
I really love that you said that because the one vision board that I did, and I don't know what energy it was that day. I don't know. It was like I was very much like combative or going out, and I was like cutting up all these like activist rights, and and then I looked at it a couple of days later. I'm like, oh, that is very aggressive. It's a very aggressive board, and
maybe that's what you need.
And but at that moment, I guess that's what I felt and I needed.
Where
and
is it?
It's in my room. I know it's still
okay,
sometimes there's days where I literally hide it.
Can you do
behind my personal board? Because my personal board is all about love and babies in the front.
Can I ask? Love and aggressive, don't you think?
Yes, I have a request. If you are comfortable, can you just take a quick snapshot of like a corner of this vision board and just share it with the world?
Yes, I will.
I want to show them what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yes, totally. Because that's and so that in energy standpoint, it's so true. It makes it tangible. It's in front of you. And again, that is an energy that I had to always fight within myself. What kind of therapist am I? Who am I? Where am I authentic? In my site, you would know that I'm loving and I base everything on light and love, but I also base everything on practicality and truth.
I love that.
Right. You download information from the higher self, but you put that into actions with the person and the energy that you are here and now. The Krista of 2017, right? So, the whole world like living positive and, positive thoughts, that's not going to do anything for you. Living positive thought, it's not going to do anything for you if you're not doing actionable steps towards those intentions.
This reminds me of Luck and Ann right now. Like he taught me about I know. It reminds me of the violin. I kind of disagree, and I feel like there's power in your words, right? So not that you're airy-fairy and you're like, always in this high of positivity. You have to be balanced and know what's reality, but you don't believe that if you continue to affirm yourself and tell yourself positive things that would happen?
No, I'm not saying no. I want you to be in a positive state of mind, of course, in a positive resource state. But it's not enough. You have to take the actionable steps towards that positive thought and resource.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
It's not enough to be like, I'm gonna be happy thoughts. It's not just enough about happy thoughts. It's you also have to do happy things. When is it time to not just say it and actually do it?
Do it. Yeah. Agreed. Okay, cool. I just wanted
that's
to.
Where I'm.
Okay.
That's where I am. That's why I hold you accountable.
Yes.
It's very important, and that's what I found. Like, if I even been my client for 20 sessions and I find that it's still here, we're still here, then that's when I come in as a professional.
Yeah.
Because in a sense, you're coming to me because you're paying me money.
Yes.
Yeah.
To be able to get you out of in this state.
Yes.
Right? So I'm not gonna, professional to professional. This is just my way. This is just my authenticity, right? Everybody's different, right?
Yes.
This is why, people are like, oh, do you have consultations? I was like, go check out my website. If you don't like my website, you're not gonna, from here forth, we might not be a good match, but I love you still. Yeah, I might be able to refer you somewhere else.
Free consultations. I'm going to take that off.
Right?
No more free consultations. You don't like my website? I don't work for you. All right. So, Maria, how do you do your vision board?
Honestly, when I created a vision board, the very first one that I did was when I was 19 years old. And most of the things that I actually put up, I feel like I've manifested, and it was just a bunch of magazine cutouts, and even the way I displayed certain things on my dresser, such as vinyl, my favorite vinyl record, to a favorite quote of mine. I feel when I look back on it, most of those things happened. Even
I love it.
Relationships.
Nice.
But yeah, so I actually try to use just cutouts, quotes I love. I do index cards of favorite, affirmations of mine. But now I feel that I'm such a minimalist in my apartment. I absolutely dislike clutter. The only two magazines I subscribe to is the New Yorker and the Paris Review, and I can't cut those out because it's my favorite magazine. But I feel nowadays my own vision board is Pinterest. I actually have a mood board. It's called Vision Board. Perfect. Yeah, and I have I have different types. Like I'll have Muse, or I'll have Home, or things like that. But then I also have a separate one called Vision Board, where I just put all of the things I feel represent what I want to manifest in my year or the current situation that I'm in.
Love it. How about you, Krista?
Okay, so I did mention that I had a vision board party on January 1st, New Year. There are apps that you can download on your phone that's like strictly for vision boards, but I'm going to be honest, I downloaded it and actually didn't do anything to it. Okay, because I have the real thing in front of me.
Do you love the app though? Do you love it enough to share what the name of the app is?
It's in my old phone, so I had it downloaded there, but I didn't download it in my new app. My new phone. I definitely checked it out. I definitely was like, okay, I'll do this, but I never actually got around to doing it. So, but again, hey, what doesn't work for me might work for you. There's no judgment here. Again, it's what works for you, right? So me personally, the reason why I probably didn't resonate with it is because I have the physical. I'm a physical person, and again, as I mentioned, my vision boards are literally in front of my bed. That's the last thing I see, and the first thing I see right in and out of my bed. So as far as that, with how I do it, I did one in January 1st, and today is the solstice, which is a really great, me with my cosmic events. And this is one great thing about vision boards is you can do another one. This is now 6 months later. But I probably won't do another one probably until the equinox, which is going to be in the autumn equinox, which is in September 22nd.
Okay, so we're going to host a vision board event on September 22nd.
Yeah. And that's probably, and again, why I would do that would probably be because I would like to compare where I was in January 1st to where I was now in September 22nd, which is the autumn equinox, which is where the planet is utterly aligned perfectly for you to keep moving to the doorway, through this etheric doorway, so may be in your life. So that's why I would do it. And it's no matter how many, you can do it for as much as you need.
I probably go over vision with my family every night. No, probably once a week. When we do our family meetings, it's, obviously if you want to see your vision manifest, you have to work at it, which was what your point was earlier. So we have goals that we do. And weekly we'll go over goals. Okay, so what are your goals this week to get that result on your vision board that you see, So I host vision boards, and at first I didn't want to because I felt like it was so cliche at the time. everyone was doing vision boards.
Katy Perry's doing it.
So that means everyone needs to do what? No, just saying. No. So I had to find what differentiated me from everyone else that was doing vision boards. And what it is my energy. The love that goes behind it. No, I'm just being real. Like, that's just...
I agree, because with each vision board, as I mentioned earlier, it's your energy, right? And it's your intention. Yes. Overall, it's the intention that you put behind it. You could have the same exact images as the next person, but what is the intention behind creating?
A vision board is not a magic tool. Like, no. I don't like, because
none of these self-care techniques is a magic tool, by the way. I just want to tell you.
Yeah, just for clarity, because I know that sometimes some people can think, oh, vision board, and everything will happen. Like, you can put $1 million on there if you want. However, what is the intention behind it? What's the energy that goes behind it? Are you willing to put the work to get that? Yeah. Like, it's not just going to fall in your lap and, and there it is.
And that's where the clarification of what I said, not just positive intentions, but also the practicality and the actionable steps towards these practices that we push out.
Agreed.
These techniques, great. Wherever you stand, we appreciate it, and we are compassionate to where you stand. But what are the practical steps that we are now taking to achieve such a state?
I think I was just coming from the standpoint of there is power in your words. So you do have to be mindful, because I guess also with words there's projection, right? So energy and words project. So that's, I guess, where I was coming from.
Yeah, that's the first thing we had to learn in all aspects. That's in my mediumship and my certification in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. There are power in words, in thoughts, okay? And also in my chi healing. So here you go. Three different aspects of therapy, and this common ground is that words have power. Mind has power. All three. Like, if I talk to my NLP director and to my chi healer teacher, they'd be like, what the hell's NLP or whatever? But they teach the same thing. This is what I'm saying. Exactly. You could go to all these studies and all these different forms of studies and knowledge
in the church,
and there are common grounds and commonalities. And it's amazing. And this is why I don't stop learning. This is why, I consume everything that is around me, because if you are in this earth breathing and living, that is your purpose. That is one of your purpose, to continue to grow and evolve.
My favorite piece of item on my vision board was a check that I wrote myself when I was younger. I remember I manifested it. I said, I'm going to make this amount of money at such and such time. And honestly, I did it.
I love that.
I think I just had my mind not just on the prize, but the intention behind it was to, one, make my parents proud, two, show myself what I can do on my own, achieve on my own through the intention behind it, which was to pretty much make something out of myself from nothing. So that was one of my favorites. Writing a check to myself. And honestly, who I learned that from, you're gonna laugh. Kimora Lee Simmons.
Oh, I love it.
Jim Carrey did the same thing. Jim Carrey did the same thing with Oprah. I don't know if you've seen that. He wrote himself a $10 million check, and he did an interview with Oprah, and he wrote that check. He didn't pay my. He
put myself $1 billion check.
He put it in his wallet, and then he got the Dumb and Dumber role, which he made exactly $10 million.
Freaking
this
awesome.
Is the power.
It's intention.
Of intention, right? So, but all this stuff is not just.
And the universe knows when you're lying and when you're faking it, and when you're speaking your truth. And I think at the end of the day, intention equals truth and what you put behind it.
Yeah, but that means it's still gonna happen.
Yeah.
All right. I always have to say this to everybody, whether God, the universe, whatever your higher source is, right? They're not Santa Claus, right? They will respond to what you're pushing out. So, let's just put it in this aspect. Your intention is the truth. Your intention might be, I'll make that $10 million. Now, is it $10 million good for you? Is it going to make you fulfilled or not? No, the universe doesn't know that, but they'll still give you the $10 million. Yeah. It is your choice to decide to say, I'm still that fulfilled. And we've proven that with Jim Carrey. And he said that in a quote where...
I love how we're shouting Jim Carrey out.
Because he's really cool. I really love him. He's a really cool person.
I know. Jim Carrey, can you be part of our podcast? Thanks.
Probably would. But he did say, you know, that one quote, he did say, I wish people could get all the money they have and all the material things they need and to come and find out that they are still not fulfilled.
Everything. It's not the money. I think when you use money as a means to fulfill a void or fill a void in your life, I do not think, or I honestly believe that that is not the answer. It really isn't.
No judgment here.
Yeah,
money.
I don't think so.
Money is just
money,
energy. I love money.
I love money too.
I go away all the time. I need money to go away.
But I think
it's the energy behind it.
It's the energy behind it, and nothing is an alternative to love.
I think that's probably going to be the common theme throughout all of our podcasts. You're going to realize that energy is key. Your intention behind everything that you do is going to be key. So that wraps up our vision board segment.
So now do one.
And we'll share a couple of tips on our site.
And that's it, guys. Thanks so much for listening to Self-Care Tuesdays with KKM. We look forward to sharing with you guys again in 2 weeks. If you need to get in touch with us before then, you can head over to our website, www.selfcaretuesdays.com. And all our social handles are there. You can email us, whatever you need. We're here. Thanks again so much for listening. It was fun sharing. We'll talk to you guys soon.